Hi, I'm Jacob Gallucci, and today I'd like to talk about my life in high school. I attended St. Ignatius College Prep in Chicago from 2002 until 2006. St. Ignatius College Prep has been open since 1869. Yes, 1869, and it's on Roosevelt Road between Blue Island and Racine. Well, Blue Island and Racine Avenue, and it's a pretty famous school. It's known for having students that are really intelligent, and a lot of their families, come from money. There's a lot of my classmates had parents that were doctors and lawyers, and there were a lot of kids that had connected families there, definitely. And well, I took the entrance exam there in January of 2002, and then I got my acceptance letter from there in February of '02, and I decided that I would go there. I took the entrance exam there and at Whitney Young. Whitney Young is a public school. It's on Jackson and Loomis. It's not far from my grade school, Andrew Jackson Language Academy, and I got accepted into both Whitney Young and Ignatius, but I took Ignatius because well, I had gone to a public school that was Andrew Jackson. I had gone there for 8 years, and since St. Ignatius was a Catholic school, I felt that it was time for a change. I wanted to have a different educational experience, and so I started at Ignatius in August of '02, and that wasn't my first time there. I had gone to the school's open house in December of '99. I was in 6th grade at the time, and in the summer of 2000, I took a summer class there. It was an English class, and in the summer of '01, I took 2 classes there. It was a science class and a math class. And in the summer of '02, I took I took a music class. It was Introduction to Guitar, and it was a pretty fun class. And like I said a couple days ago, one of the people in the class was one of the girls that I would become friends with, the one that looks like Kristen Bell. She was in that class with me, and well, anyway, I started at Ignatius in August of '02, and it wasn't easy for me at first. Like the first couple months there, it was hard. Only one of my grade school classmates that I had graduated 8th grade with was there. This nice Hispanic girl. She was really a nice, friendly girl, but she was the only person from my graduating class from Jackson that was going to Ignatius with me, and it was hard. But I was lucky. Within the first couple days at Ignatius, 2 of my former classmates from Jackson were actually at Ignatius with me. But these 2 people weren't people that graduated with me. They left way before then. This one Polish guy with blonde hair, he's a cool guy. He left Jackson midway through 4th grade. And then at the end of 5th grade, this one girl left. This girl who initially she had blonde hair and she wore glasses, but she ended up going to Ignatius with me, and by then she was a brunette and she didn't wear glasses anymore, and she was really pretty. I mean, she was pretty in grade school, but she really got prettier, from like 5th grade until freshman year at Ignatius, and she was really nice. I always got along with her, and those were the only people I knew at Ignatius when I first started. It was hard. I was so awkward back then. I was really shy, and I was nervous, and I didn't know anybody. It was hard. Eventually, I got to know some people from like some of my classes and free periods and stuff, and it was tough. I didn't really start getting to know more people until like the second half of sophomore year, and by then I was with a few guys and a few girls, and it was fun, and most of St. Ignatius is white. A majority of the students were white. We had some minorities, blacks, Hispanics, and Asians, and most of the people that I went to school with were really nice. They were nice, friendly people, and it was fun there. It really was. Most of the teachers I had were very good. They knew what they were doing, and they really cared about the students there. They did. And I went to our class had many retreats along the way. Freshman year, our retreat was in school, and sophomore and junior year, there were retreats as well. And senior year, they have this they have this thing called the Kairos retreat. I didn't want to go on that. It wasn't mandatory, but many of my classmates went on it, and I just didn't want to go. Retreats were okay, but I prefer to be at school, you know. I just felt more comfortable there, and we had dances too. We had the fall mixer. It was a casual dance where we wore t-shirts and jeans, and we had the turnabout dance. That was the dance where the girls would ask the guys, instead of the guys asking the girls would ask the guys for turnabout. And we had the homecoming dance, and also later on the junior prom and the senior prom. And out of all the dances I went to, I only had a date for one of them. It was the junior homecoming dance. My date was the girl that looks like Kristen Bell, and I showed the picture a couple days ago. But that was the only time in all 4 years. That was the only dance I ever had a date for. Every other dance I actually went alone. I didn't even have a date for junior prom or senior prom, which is crazy, but I can explain why I didn't. I mean, looking back, I spent way too much time talking to the same girls. Like the one girl who looks like Kristen Bell, and the one who looks like Jeannie Zelasco. They were nice and they were pretty, but there were so many other girls in my class I should have focused on, and I blew it. I'll admit it. I blew it. I tried way too hard to be friends with those two girls, and I never had a chance to be their boyfriend. I was friends with them, but I never became their boyfriend. But whatever. I didn't get to know as many people as I should have. In my graduating class, there were 326 other people, and out of those 326, I got to know probably about 50 to 60 of them pretty well. And there were probably about 70 to 80 more that I knew a little bit, but not as much as I should have. And most of the rest of the class I barely knew. I hate to admit it, but I barely got to know most of the remaining part of the class, and I wish I had, you know. But I was shy back then. I was awkward, and it was tough, you know. I had a hard time, and I wasn't athletic either. I wasn't on any sports teams, and as much as I love sports, I know a lot about sports, but I'm terrible at playing them. I really am. I played intramurals though. Intramurals were played. They were played during lunchtime, and we had, you know, teams of people where we would play like basketball, floor hockey, soccer, flag football, things like that. You know, dodgeball as well, and I wasn't in many clubs either. There was an Italian club, Club Italia. I was in that, but we mostly just ate in that club, you know, and there wasn't really anything to do in there. And there were other clubs I was thinking about joining, like the improv club would have been fun, but it was kind of an odd group of kids, really. I mean, I was a little odd, but those kids were they were out there. They were, honestly, and the Frisbee club would have been fun too, but I heard a lot of the kids in that group were they were potheads. From what I heard, at least, they were potheads. But whatever. I mean, I didn't have much of a social life back then. I didn't hang out with people that much outside of school, and one of the reasons was that I didn't take any CTA transportation. That would be buses or trains. I didn't take any CTA vehicle until I was, until I was 18 years old. 18. I didn't take any buses or trains until I was 18, which is really hard to believe because I've lived in Chicago my whole life, but it's true, and that prevented me from really hanging out with these people outside of school. A lot of these kids lived in the suburbs and in Lincoln Park, and in Beverly. I could have easily have just taken like a CTA train or bus or Metra. I could have taken Metra to meet with these kids, and it was my own fault. I didn't take enough chances back then. I didn't have much of a social life, and I screwed up. I'll admit it. But I graduated from Ignatius in June of 2006, and from then until about the fall of 2008, I hung out with a few people from Ignatius. I'd say about overall maybe about 50 people from Ignatius I saw, probably from from after graduation until the fall of '08. I saw probably about 50 to about 75 of my classmates, and I did some things with them along the way. In that 2-year period, I went to a couple White Sox games with them. I went to Lollapalooza with a few of them, and I saw a couple movies with them, and I went to a couple parties as well. And but by the end of 2008, I was ready to move on. I felt like I had to move on from high school and just meet some new people, you know. And I sent these messages on Facebook saying, you know, I want to move on. I really don't want to see you again. And the way I said it, I came off as a jerk, and I regret sending those messages. I really do. I apologized to those people, and they forgave me and all, but it was time to move on. I had to. And I had a reputation back then for being I was creepy and pushy, and I made people uncomfortable, and I was awkward, and it was hard though. I didn't know what I was doing socially. I was just really nervous, and I was terrible. My social skills sucked back then. I'll admit it. And I had all the attributes to be popular in high school. And after that, now I've changed. Now I've changed a lot, and I'm a much better person. Now I'm friendlier. I'm smarter. I'm more outgoing, and I have more confidence now. I'm more confident, and I'm more secure. My self-esteem's a lot higher, and I'm a lot more comfortable now than I was back then. The way I am now, if I had been like that back then, my life back then would have been a lot better. It's a shame that it didn't go as well as it should have, but whatever. Our class reunion was in November of 2011. It was on Black Wednesday, so it was, let me see, November 23rd, 2011. I just could not go. I just didn't want to go. I didn't really want to see all these people at once again. It was too long ago, and seeing everybody at once would have been too much for me. I wouldn't mind seeing a few of them here and there, but not all of them at once. And from February of last year until about January of this year, I wrote to about 30 to 35 of my classmates on Facebook, but only about 10 or 15 of them wrote back, and I could see why, though. It's been so long, and these people moved on. I moved on too, but sometimes it's nice to say hello and to see how people are doing, you know. Things could have been so much better back then, but at least I graduated from there. I had some good times, but my life there could have been way better, and what are you going to do? You only go through high school once. I learned a lot back then, and things could have been better, but whatever. They are what they are, I guess. You take the good with the bad, I guess. But anyway, I'm sorry for rambling, but I'll be back tomorrow with 2 new videos, and until then, take care.